pretty sure we've got a perfect set of rocking chair rails here.
And we made our own lumber. We've got stickers and blocking. I think it's a good start. It's some of the ugliest lumber I've ever seen, but it's ours. I made one modification to the mill. Well, hey there, hobby homesteaders. Welcome back to Peaks Peak. If you're new to the channel, I'm Lucas, and we're sharing our hobbies here on 38 acres in eastern Kentucky. And today, we're gonna run the mill for the first time in the Woodyard. I've got a couple of things I wanna show you about the setup on the Woodyard, because we have, of course, set up some things to make it a little bit easier while we're milling. And I made one modification to the mill because I mentioned when I first put it together that I really liked the automatic watering system where when you pull the throttle, the water comes on. And I did a little search and I didn't find anything quick, easy, and cheap to install on it to give me that automatic watering with the lever. But what I did do is come up with an idea that makes it almost as convenient. Let me show you what I did. So the first thing is I've got our water turned on here all the time now. And it comes out of here and feeds along this mill head until it gets to this solenoid here. This solenoid is run to a small battery. I had a small 12-volt battery that I used for piddly things around the shop, and I decided I would temporarily zip tie it to the mill head here and see how this works and decide if I want to make a mounting plate, maybe a box for it or something like that. But we wired in that 12-volt battery to this solenoid, and that runs to a switch right here on our mill handle, so that when we are ready to turn the watering on, we just flip a switch and you can see the light up here when it turns the watering on. And of course, you can see the water start to come out. So now, when we are ready to start milling and pull the throttle to start milling, we just flip the switch on, we mill. When we get to the other end, we flip the switch back off. That way, it's right here handy and I don't have to walk around to the front to turn it on and off. It's just something I wanted to do as a cool little modification just for fun. And all of these parts were very cheap on Amazon. You know, I picked up the switch for a few bucks, a small roll of tubing, and a little 12-volt solenoid. I already had the battery, so I mean, I probably had 20 bucks in the whole project. And I just thought it would be something fun to try and share with you guys. If you have a mill that you have to walk around the front to turn the water on, this might be a good option for you. Oh, I almost forgot. So I've watched loads of videos of guys setting up their wood yards and their sawmills and all of that. And I was watching one fella that does videos for Norwood mills, and he had a nice little staging area to set slabs off onto while he was milling. So he was creating stickers, but he would mill 1x boards and just stack them on a little platform right next to his mill. And that allowed him to, when he got ready, got all of his 1x boards done, it allowed him to not have to pick them up off the ground to set them back on the mill to make the next 1-inch cut to turn them into stickers. Thought that was a pretty bright idea, and I had these railroad ties sitting here handy. They're not exactly waist height, so I'm still gonna have to bend over to pick them up, but not quite as far as the ground. They were just here and I thought it would make it look nice, so I staged them there, and we may move that as we build our shed and do other things, but that's kind of a good starting point anyway. I've been watching guys like Sawing with Sandy and Brock from Rock Hill Farm and trying to decide how I want to go about handling my slabs. Brock made a really cool slab rack that has slots in it so that you cut at the measured spaces, but I'll tell you what caught my eye was the firewood log rack that Sawing with Sandy built. I feel like that would also be a good way to handle slabs. I could use it for both things that way, and so I could build it between my sawmill station and my firewood station as kind of a table for logs with a lip on the end to hold the slabs or hold the logs in place, and then spacing between the beams to make your cuts for firewood length cuts. And I think that's the route I'm going to go. So probably the next thing I'm going to mill after I finish up these stickers are some beams that I can build that log table out of. And I haven't measured out a plan yet to figure out how big I need, but I figure I can cut my beams like 4x4s. So I'll probably make some beams like that, and we'll just kind of go from there. But it also depends on the logs that I have and what I can do with those. But yeah, man, so many ideas. I can't do it all. This is fun. I want you to look at that boy. No boots, no jacket. Look at him. What do you say there, Eli Tomac? Chase Sexton?
Yeah.
Yeah, right on, right on. Where's your jacket?
I've got one.
I've got a sweatshirt in the side by side there you can put on. What do you think, man? You better pull this over by. Oh, you got your money with you? How much money you got?
$100-something.
Why? How? You just been saving?
Pretty much.
You're kind of a little con man, aren't you? We call Kaden our little con man because he gets his allowance and he saves it. He won't spend it. But he begs everybody else to buy him stuff. Like his sister buys him wrestling men. And so somehow he's figuring out how to get all that stuff and he's saving his money. You got a $100 bill?
Yes.
How'd you get a $100 bill? Mama trade your money in so you'd have 100? Well, good job saving, man.
I had to spend a bunch of my quarters though.
You did what? On what?
On this.
Oh, trading it in for your 100?
I didn't have enough.
Well, why don't you let me put that in my wallet for right now?
Yeah, no.
You're up here, and I don't want you to lose it up here. I mean, you're riding your dirt bike for crying out loud.
What, did I lose it under my...
We keep, I mean, this boy, you know, he's kamikaze, everything he does. And he destroys everything he touches, and you're just kind of a madman all the way around, aren't you? But somehow, he's kept this wad of dollar bills and a Ziploc bag of quarters, and he carries it around, counts it in the floor and everything else. You go in his bedroom and there'll be dollar bills sprinkled all over the floor, and we're thinking there's no way he's keeping up with his money. But somehow it's all still there. How you doing that?
I don't know.
Got Kaden cutting my stickers for me. Come on. Push it on through, push on through. Now let off your throttle, turn your water off, and then you take your board, pick it up off of there, and just set it off to the side over there. And we're gonna put it back on in a little bit and cut them the other way to make little squares like that. But you can't quite reach this, but you gotta raise this up just a little bit to push this back. And then we'll reset this to the next inch mark. And check everything, make sure we're good. How we line up, we look good. All right, water on, pull the trigger. Water off. And remember what you do next. What else you got to do before you pull it back? Then you reach it, you unlock it, and then go up just a half a turn or so. That's enough. All you're doing is raising the blade up enough to get it over the top to where it doesn't drag. Got your water on? Water off. Hey, Kaden, start in there first because all that's going to blow down on these rails anyway, right?
Run!
Go ahead and throw that off to the side.
You didn't get much from that one.
No, I'm gonna have to go deeper. I kind of do that every time right now. I'm afraid to go too deep. I don't want to waste a bunch of wood. So I end up not cutting enough off.
Got something.
All right, take that slab. You need to get on the outside and then pick up that slab. That slab, you need to get on the outside and then pick up that slab and you set it on this. And the way I've got this set up, it's supposed to just set all the way across here.
This is a bunch of sawdust.
Thinking this is why everyone tells me to make sure I center the pith. I think the joke here is, now I'm ready to start milling lumber for Lowe's. I'm pretty sure we've got a perfect set of rocking chair rails here.
First day milling in the Woodyard was a blast. We had some hiccups. I'll just be honest with you. I broke a blade and I'm pretty sure it was my fault. Something that was happening that I didn't realize is that my jacket was hanging up on the handle that's the blade tensioner when I would reach up and crank the handle. And so I was gradually just ever so slightly loosening the blade and I didn't notice it. And right before the blade broke, I looked down and I noticed it kind of wobbling just a little bit and I thought, that's odd, it looks like it's loose. And about that moment, it popped. And I think it's because it got loose enough that it got against something in there and caught. It didn't break anything else, didn't hurt anything else, but I'm pretty sure it was the way that I was maneuvering, I caused the blade to loosen. I'm really gonna have to watch out for that if I'm wearing a loose jacket like I was. I noticed getting caught on it several times, but I didn't realize that I was turning the handle. So it is what it is. I put a new blade on and we were back in business. It cut really well, but like I pointed out, I've got some things to learn because my 4x4 blocks are bowed. I'm gonna get this stuff cleaned up. Caden's helping me put the wood on the wood pile, and then we're gonna head down and have some pizza. Man, these are some heavy, soaking wet boards. This has been a great night up here in the Woodyard. I'm glad Kaden came up to work with me. He got to run the mill just a little bit and clean up and help me do a lot of stuff. And we made our own lumber. We've got stickers and blocking. I think it's a good start. It's some of the ugliest lumber I've ever seen, but it's ours. They're a little bowed, aren't they? That's all right. We can still make something good out of them.
Just a little.
Yeah.
Just a little.
This is going to be really neat. I've got a lot to learn, and I feel a little bit overwhelmed right now because, you know, just trying to get the dimensions I wanted and everything. It's trickier than I thought it would be. Learning how to read the scale and set it up right. There's a lot to this, but it's doable. I'm going to learn it, and it's going to be fun. The MechMaxx did a fantastic job. It really made nice, smooth cuts. I'm real happy with the way it ran. The engine ran great the whole time. It's easy to start. I mean, everything about it has just been fantastic, and I love our new watering system. That was really cool.
When did you make the water?
I put it on there the last couple of nights. I come up and worked with it just a little bit. Well, guys, until next time, don't forget to get outside and enjoy God's creation. It's beautiful out here. Y'all have a good day.